For the next part of this feature, I will need another subject. Who would like to go next?
So then,
Yep,
considering that Sal can see these, could he attempt to make a check to get an idea of what he thinks they might do?
absolutely. You can make me an Arcana check.
I will do that. Don't fucking roll bad, you bitch. Ah! Yay! I
Okay.
Beginner's luck.
have a +9. It's not beginner's luck.
I mean, it is for your rolls.
I already had another roll that was bad.
Okay, Sal.
Normally, you don't
Yeah.
stop at one.
Okay. That red crystal theoretically is a fire energy crystal. However, it's not enchanted in such a way. It's used more for a source of energy, a bright light, essentially. But from what you can tell from here, not in the visible spectrum, you can't
Oh,
really tell.
okay. That's a tracking device, but one that we wouldn't be able to notice if it activated necessarily.
Hmm.
No, okay, got you. Sal stays quiet.
It seems to have other features, but you would have to look at it closer to get a better understanding. The only reason you picked it up is that since you still have your glasses and they are also technically made of crystal, it refracted weirdly off the lenses.
I've got that thing like when you get glasses that are treated to prevent blue light when you look in cameras, you just get laser eyes.
Yes. It's like, why? The fuck?
Truly, I'm anime. Sal stays quiet.
No other volunteers. I will say, once these are attached, they are incredibly difficult to remove, so I don't would like to only attach them once.
I mean, he looked like he had enough for all of us, didn't he?
Yes,
Alright, come on, we're gonna be stuck with the bloody things anyway. Might as well get it over and done with.
that is the spirit. There you go. Click.
It so clashes with my colours.
It should be small enough. It shrinks down and actually thins up for uh Kree. It does seem to be the equivalent size for every single person,
I
and
mean,
it fits comfortably.
Kree's not
However,
that small. A little small, he's not that
he's a
small.
little, yeah, compared to
He's
what it
five
was
foot.
affixed as for log.
Well, yeah, full log, yeah.
That's my point. It's proportional. Additionally, once it clicks on for Kree, now that there's two linked, you notice that the blue crystal on the front lights up a little bit, and
I immediately tap
I'll
it.
just yep, it lights up. Sal, you also notice another thing about it. As soon as it kicks in, you have enough perception, and I'll carry over that Arcana skill to see that it arcs with a little bit of lightning. There's a little spark, a little energy happens between Log and Kree, but then it immediately stops. He'll get to Kai and pause before putting it on. You do realize that there's always going to be a home for you back at the monastery if you wish to return. You had a lot of potential, but your outburst had to make us cast you out. And frankly, I was against the idea.
He says nothing, but he also doesn't resist, perhaps knowing how skilled Belisol would be if he tried.
At least you carried our wisdom, he says as he clicks it on. Go to Sam. Yeah, unceremoniously click it on. You'll go to Rhea, but pause and look over at Stolder. As I said, I would like not to reattach these. Is there going to be a problem?
Well, then you shouldn't be making slaves of us in the first place.
Hardly slaves. These are rehabilitation tools.
You have a lot of fancy words for the word slave there, human.
There's a distinct difference. Slavery's been banned for years.
Rhea's gonna take a
And
step
here we
back while they
are.
talk.
Understand, I know this is what it perceives, what this looks like. However, there is the best intentions for you all here.
Listen, young man, if it looks like a lemon and it tastes like a lemon, it's probably a fucking lemon.
Give it a month. After that, we can negotiate whether if you're a valid test subject or not. If you're willing to participate in our trial run of this.
I don't know.
Well,
You still haven't given me my fucking Clandagor or my cat.
We had to go upstairs to retrieve it for you. Don't worry about it. However, Rhea, as I interpreted it, you're in an interesting place. I'm terribly sorry, but I don't control the rules for these things. If you don't accept would be one of the few ways that I could protect you from the more superstitious among us from clamping down on your form, and frankly, viewing you as a threat.
She'll just kind of stare at him for a while. She's really not trusting any of this.
You're right
And
to
just
not
kind of
trust me.
sigh.
That's fair. But there's a few options you have. It was difficult for me to actually get you in participating in this study, considering who you are.
I guess.
He won't
Doesn't
approach
seem
you.
like a move.
He won't approach you, but he does have the collar open and is waiting for you to step forward yourself.
We're at an awkward standoff because she does not want to move clearly.
Cylon, I have a question.
Yes.
What is this door made of?
Uh, iron reinforced wood.
Cool.
While it looks like Rhea is hesitating, Sam just kind of speaks quietly under his voice. Not terribly quiet, like we can still hear him, but like enough that isn't very attention drawing. But he says, "You heard what the alternative was."
She'll just
Uh,
kind of, I mean, she'll have like a brief glance over. Like she hears something, but she's going to look more like this direction, acting like she didn't hear from him.
Enough that smoke.
No, I mean like,
No,
looking
I'm just
away from
joking.
him. And it's kind of sigh, and she'll move up slowly.
Thank you. Honestly, it would be a shame for someone like yourself to be wasted in the gallows. He clicks it on. Sir Dwarf?
No.
No.
Takes a step away from him. I hear lies and empty promises with you people, and you're all a bunch of delusional children.
I'm sure we can negotiate this, I'm sure.
Well, I made my demands fairly clear, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of my favorite thing in the entire world.
Give me a second. I'm sure I'll get that sorted out. She leaves that door and closes it behind her. Wander off to someplace. Let's move her token there.
As you said, Belisol is difficult to remove these once put on. Waiting a couple
Yeah.
of minutes is hardly that much of a problem.
I understand. It's clear to me that this didn't have the effect I was wanting. It was a bit of a hindsight problem on my part, I'll admit.
You recognize the symbology of putting a collar around one's neck,
I do.
especially one in a situation such as us.
I do. Especially with a little bit of a notoriety that this place has.
That's the problem with you youngins. You act before you think.
I wanted them to originally be rings, but the intelligentsia said that wouldn't be possible with the surface area they had. It was really the only choice we had was either that or a waistband.
Are there any other guards in this room?
There's two
Oh.
others.
Okay, never mind.
I'm capable of having short-sightedness, I'll admit. But I will say that this will help you receive your own freedom much quicker than it would normally.
I doubt that.
Participation is key in these matters. Well, because you are participating, I did hear that there were going to be some negotiations about further accommodations about some of your times here. Do any of you have any requests?
Log would like bathtub.
Bathtub. Interesting. I think it can be arranged.
Nice bed.
Fine.
Sure, it should be easy enough.
No. Log.
Huh?
Don't think about furniture. They're going to be sending us to places. Think of something you can take with you, lad.
That's what Log have though.
No.
Log like bathtub to sleep in.
I think you misunderstand us, Stodier. We're not going to be sending you anywhere. You're still going to be residing within the prison. However, this is a new type of reformation tactic. It's meant to build community and cooperation between uh, individuals.
And
Help.
here I thought you were going to send us after criminals and other ne'er-do-wells.
Oh, absolutely not. We wouldn't do that with you.
A
Uh,
shame. Log good at that.
no, this is an opportunity to build community and cooperation between individuals. If
Never
you guys,
mind then. Bathtub and good bed, all yours, Log.
Rhea raises a hand.
yes,
I want outside time. I can be monitored. I can be chained up. But I want it at night.
outside
Half
time.
hour? Is that reasonable? Half hour sounds okay.
For what purpose?
Rhea looks mock offended. She radiates. I like night. I mean, it's kind of like an assumption you make looking at her. She'll motion to her general demeanor. It kind of hurts to go a bit of time without looking at the sky. Comforting.
I understand that it may be part of your existence, but if it is anything to do with religion, the people above me and my other council members would not allow it.
No
Pers-
religion.
no religion. 30 minutes will be fine. Even if it is religious. He looks at the other two guards, and they sort of have a understanding look to him. Even if it is religious, personally, I would allow it. If only to for you to understand that eventually it would be deemed unnecessary. You're stronger than whatever divine powers may grant you, whatever this is.
Yes, divine powers. Go with that one.
Sure, 30 minutes can be arranged. I can do that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, if you're gonna put me to work making things anyway, that's fine by me. Bed's fine. Do with more food, but I've already talked to what's her name, Ben over there, about giving me Stargirl's leftovers, so that's fine. No, I'm good.
Understood.
You said it would be sent below.
Yes, this penitentiary is built on the top of a mine. It was originally run, but after it was acquired by the government, we figured that it could be used as a place of rehabilitation as well. There are many people who get their frustrations out through physical activity or violence, so this would be a great outlet for them. Additionally, it helps fund the government. Different magical crystals and reagents are found below.
You're being sent to mine.
There's other things to do other than mine, of course. You got people who have magical talents who sort through the different ores and magical items, and other people who actually use and craft with these things. Of course, this is all optional. The more productive you are down there, the shorter your sentence.
Sam Kev gestures to Scholar. This feels like an expensive gambit for simple mine work.
It is. And frankly, it's honestly just a field test. This is one of the first versions we've ever built. We would like to widely implement it, but frankly, we need to know if it works first. It's based on a theory that if people are in close proximity with each other, they'll eventually learn to actually cooperate.
Or kill each other.
That is the fear, and that is why it is not widespread yet, and that is also why you all will be one of the first test subjects.
Yep. And in your youth and wisdom, you've managed to stick a dwarf with an elf, a lizard, and whatever the hell that thing is over there.
It's a Penol from what I've
Kree
gathered.
just waves.
And please, flagrant racism isn't allowed here. We try to keep everything equal. We understand that some of these blood feuds run deep and thick, but in the Empire, everyone is equal.
Don't worry, that's actually one of the better introductions I've had.
Still, hopefully, within close proximity of each other, you will all know to learn each other's skills and values.
This feels like the sort of thing that would benefit more with having a good example rather than 6 prisoners chained up together.
That would be ideal, but frankly, It's not the good people who need reformation. At this point, Benedict Phelan comes back. Phelan, sorry.
Was she filing?
Ah, here you are. She's holding a cat at outstretched. She has like a scratch on her face. And
Good
the
boy, Raul.
feisty one, I'll admit. Here, come take it. She's not carrying the cat correctly. Like she's carrying it by the armpits, holding it outstretched so it can't bite her.
Oh, just drop him. He'll hop up on my shoulder.
Okay. She drops it.
And sure enough, now, McClan dagger.
Of course.
So he holds out his hands. Toss it.
She tosses it. It's in its sheath, and there's a little rope tie around the hilt, so it's tied to its scabbard. So you can't really draw it quickly.
Good. Okay. You've bought me ear. I am listening to what you have to say.
I mean, you have probably been listening. It's not like we're in different rooms. Honestly, it is for self-improvement reasons why you've all been chosen. And trust me, you were handpicked out of all the new introductions that we've had.
What's the worst case, Mr. Dwarf? You're stuck with us for a month and then your bail is paid.
Oh no, lad. That's very short-sighted of you. Though I wouldn't doubt it with those glasses of yours.
Sam just kind of gives you a very deadpan look.
He does make a
No,
good
no.
point, though. The alternative's, what, sit in your cell until they get bored of you? There's not exactly
Oh,
a lot of
I'd
opportunities
outlive
here.
I'd outlive both of these children.
Yeah, and you'd still be stuck in your cell.
Surprisingly, he's not actually going to pipe up. He's going to let you guys talk it out.
So, you seem to forget the threat that was made when we first came in.
What?
Did you not hear the good lady say meet with your gods?
Oh, I'd love to meet the gods. The good gods. The dwarven gods.
Sam just frowns at you.
Well,
I'm
that,
sure you humans have some perfectly fine deities as well.
We do. If it helps you, Master Dwarf. Bellicol will take out the collar and turn it around. Back on the back of these, various smiths of Torag did help make these. He is one of the worshipped gods within the Godclaw.
And yet, you ignore all of me other deities, like Angrad, Fulgrit, Grundinar.
Don't ignore them, they're saints.
They
Not-
ain't saints, they're deities. Good and
We've-
proper.
We've yet to see such proof. If they wish to negotiate with the other deities of the Godclaw, then perhaps they could negotiate something similar to Nethys or Phrasma.
They're the children of Torag, you. Why am I even
have you-
arguing with children? My
have you
mother
ever-
taught me better.
Have you heard of demigods?
Have you heard of
few.
insanity?
No matter. You'll learn in time that it's a bit foolish to get in these arguments with you. I keep walking into them. It's a bad habit of mine. Nevertheless, you've got
With
what
age
you
comes
crested.
wisdom.
Unfortunately, Master Dwarf, a simple human such as myself cannot get such age, but we maintain our ambitions throughout it instead of becoming sedentary and stuck in our
Aye.
ways. But you have what you requested. Perhaps you would like to have a
Aye,
little bit
and
more of a chat.
I'm giving you what I promised you. I am listening to your proposals and your nonsense.
For the time you reside within the penitentiary, you will be wearing this, and it is a group
No.
cooperation effort. What is
Never
the
agree
problem
to
with
that,
that?
lad.
I do.
You're a very poor negotiator in business, you know that?
The last time I checked, you don't have much to negotiate with.
Honestly. I should have sent a merchant's son down here instead of an inquisitor.
Once again,
At lea-
what's your options? You either do this for him, or you don't leave this room. You have nothing to negotiate with.
If you would like to scoff at me, please tell me what you are proposing. What do you have to negotiate? Do you have information on the terrorists that stole all your arms, or perhaps were given
I know how to get that information.
one?
Well, first of all, my business contacts. Secondly, that big, muscly lad over there. Log, was it? Yes.
Yeah.
He has contacts with the criminal world. Both of those very fine leads to go down. And I am bound by clan honor to go find these thieves, get back me formula, and stop them. You could set me free right now. I promise I would go stop them all. Or die trying.
So,
I'd be drinking with my ancestors.
tell me, Master Dwarf, what do you realize about the problems with that statement?
That your people are insane and have no trust?
No, is that all your business contacts are dead.
Fucking excuse me.
Yes, part of the 469 members of that lizard folk's boss. Apparently added more notches to his blade recently.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We have other members doing this research for us. If we run into a blank, we'll be happy to contact you if you knew anything else, but until then, we're working on our own. We don't need your help.
Well, then why did you handpick me?
We handpicked you because of your frustration, and frankly, many of the other mellow attitudes around here should help calm you down and make you more uh, easy to deal with in the common good of our people.
Now, you talk about the common good of the people. And yet, I'm not seeing a lot of common good here.
Well, frankly, we're not killing you.
Well, yes. By Grundenar's grace.
And frankly, after recent assassination attempts by said Log's boss, your formulae and thus you are complicit.
Lass, that doesn't make any damn sense and you know it.
I don't make the rules.
Clearly.
Again, this was an opportunity for you to get off the hook.
Right, get off the hook and onto another hook.
Ideally not. It's up to you whether if you get onto that second hook. I can only help you with one at a time.
And now you're not even denying it anymore.
To be fair, I never really was. I'm well aware of the situation you find yourself in.
Quite frankly, I'm surprised that these other 5 people have decided not to put up a fight.
What's the alternative for the rest of us, Master Dwarf? Break out of prison here. One simple person by herself. Against many guards.
You're welcome to try.
This is simply expediting a process that has been set for us in...
Yeah, like I said, not exactly a huge amount of choice. Either sit in the cell until we rot, or get killed trying to not take the deal, or take the deal and perhaps get out of here a bit earlier.
If I can be frank, the reputation of this place isn't spotless.
I can
No.
see that.
We're seeking to improve it. And this is one of the first steps. And we'll be meeting with you weekly, twice a week maybe, about your current situation and whether there's things that we can be improving, or how things can be changed, and how faults with our processes. This is a
Well-
trial run, and we do.
Well, your
seek
first fault
information.
is the collars. Let me just be clear about that.
Would you prefer them as waistbands? There does require a certain size to them for them to be able to be made. Again, as I said, one of my first iterations that I wanted was a ring, but it was a bit too small.
Yes, a waistband would have actually been a lot less oppressive looking.
Yes, The people at the intelligentsia are not the most subtle, I'll admit. They heard prison and reformation, and they built a collar. They're not the most tactful, I'll admit, but I suppose I can send in a request for it to be changed.
Good. Now we're getting somewhere. You see, lads and lass,
Yeah.
this is how you
It,
negotiate business.
yeah, it really helps when you stop just standing there going, no, you're stupid, you're so young, you don't know anything, and actually start giving some suggestions.
My, you're so wise for someone of your age, he says, saying to Kree. What is your name again?
Kree!
Kree. I think you'll do well here.
He just grins. He has many teeth.
Perhaps some oral hygiene would help. I think that can be arranged, but nevertheless.
But your people aren't ever gonna take no for an answer, are you?
No.
Ha!
Zadok,
Well
Master
then,
Dwarf.
come on then. Give me what you got.
You do realize that you either put this collar on willingly, or we kill you, right?
Oh, and here I thought you were just going to hold me down and slap it on.
No.
Huh.
I think the threat of meeting one's gods went over his head.
I'm starting to gather that.
No, I just don't think they realize it's not much of a threat.
Well, if you insist. The girl gets up.
Ugh.
Would you like to be a public execution or a private one? Laughing is not an answer. She steps forward again, draws a blade.
Ah, yes. This is the face I was looking for. Now I see you.
I will have to cut the beard off, though. I need to get a good cut at your throat.
Ironically, a collar would help with this.
Ideally, yes, it would.
Tell you what. Hand me the collar. Let me take a look at it.
Iron Hand steps forward and puts a hand out to Benedict. Okay. Yeah. Hands it over. Steps back.
I'm gonna roll lore engineering.
Sure.
17. Can I see any weak points in it?
You're looking this thing over. It's very well made. Surprisingly, actually very well made. It carries some similarities to dwarven craftsmanship. It seems like the actual alloy band and uh, its body was actually dwarven forged. Seems to be some kind of iron steel alloy. Seems to be preventing tarnish. But no, you can't really see much of a weak point. The place where the crystals are set are the clasping points. It seems like it could be split in two halves, but then you would have to break the crystals themselves, which, from what you know, you haven't really had much work with these kind of crystals, would be very difficult to do. In theory, if the crystals could be shattered, it would just come apart, but you can't think of anything that would shatter the crystals. And the metal itself would dent or bend before it was snapped. Frankly, from what you've seen of other people's necklaces, if you tried to do that, you might end up strangling yourself or compressing one of your arteries and choking yourself out. And
He's dead.
on the back of it, you do see a list of the 5 gods of the God Claw. So, and Torag is certainly one of the prominent members of it.
He just kind of turns it over a couple of times, gives it a good nod, and says, "Very well made. Very well made."
We did try our best to make the first set of them very accommodating.
Well, you come back to me with the waistband. I might become more cooperative, but for now, I suppose this will have to do.
Thank you for understanding. The forging of the waistband is going to take a bit of time. The alloy itself is rather complicated of a process.
I can see that. Well, one of you are gonna have to help me. can't exactly put it on with these fucking manacles.
Of course. She puts away her blade, and Iron Hand helps you put it on. And he's very careful and very respectful of the beard. There. It shrinks to fit, and it feels no heavier than a standard thin chain necklace.
There's mithril in this, isn't there?
It's part of the alloy, yes.
I see.
Actually, there's he said the Archmage actually chimes in now that he's actually talking about the craftsmanship of magic item, and he's just really excited about it. Actually, it's a mithril adamantine it's like alloy with a little bit of titanium and then a little bit of iron and nickel and zinc to make sure it doesn't actually corrode in the weather. Both the other two people in the room turn to him and look at him, and he kind of shrinks back down into his robes. Yes. Well, it should be known that one of the capabilities it has is that if we ever need to require all of you in a single location, or as one of the punishments that we can administer with this, he goes back to the box that they were pulled out of and pulls out a small device. Turning a crystal, it doesn't hurt at all. It's just a bit startling. A small beam of light, sort of lightning energy, suddenly goes between all the front crystals of your, I guess it's collars, and ties you all together. And you can feel slight force on it, but you feel like you could walk about 10 feet away from the nearest person.
Kree's fur just
Weird.
puffs out.
Normally, this won't be activated, but it is something that we have at our disposal. I figured I will be honest with you. If you go past this length, it will start pulling you back towards the proper distance between your companions. If you're too far away, the force greatly increases.
Out of character, I'm foreseeing a very good chance that I get fucking choked to death.
Hey.
Yeah.
I would be very cautious that if one of you tries to escape without the others, then it will likely result in the death of all of you. As if one person is too far away and there are walls between you, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. It is one of the safety features that we have to make sure you don't run off with our magical tech, as well as you all stay together and are able to cooperate and don't run off randomly and ignore the actual trial we're conducting. Well, it's been nice. Is there any follow-up questions you would like to do before embarking on this?
So weird.
So, I do have a question.
Sure.
Clearly, we can't be separated very far from each other, which means we're going to have to share a communal space.
Correct.
I demand a separate bunk from the rest of these misfits.
That can be negotiated, but there is. I'll have you know that the Black Cliff Penitentiary is an open space communal penitentiary. Community was part of the thing in mind when this was first built.
Yeah, you're also very quick to
However-
call the rest of us miscreants when you're in jail as well, man.
Never said I wasn't.
But I'm sure that's something you can work out below. There is already a large standing community down there. Well, now that that's out of the way, I'll be taking my leave, and our record keeper, Phalian, may take over. It's a pleasure meeting with you all. I will be seeing you again with our first meeting. He smiles, gives a bow, and turns to leave.
Alright, see you later, Sam.
Spit on the ground as he leaves.
Oh, that was certainly dramatic from you, Sir Dwarf. But nevertheless, now that you're all
Well, if you want drama, just wait till I get my hand on me book of grudges and put your name in it.
oh, please, I would love to be actually written into that book. I feel like it would be a great honor. I do like being remembered by people. I sort of have a way of doing that. But please, come with me. I think it's that time you enter the prison proper. She opens the door and makes a hand gesture to all of you. And I'm going to take you to the next place.
Woo up.
Dun, dun, dun.
As they're walking, Sal just kind of quietly speaks under his breath. None of you better run. I will not be choked to death.
Fine. I'll next day.
Nah. Dwarves don't run, lad.
Oh, right.
Kai's just kind of glancing down at you, but you can kind of tell that he's having to slow his walking speed.
He's one of those fucking people.
His speed might be faster than 25 feet.
I mean, also same. Elves naturally, because we're blinky motherfuckers, have 30-foot movement speed, even though Rhea's only 5'1". She's all leg.
Good leg for days.
Sorry, imagine like 4 feet of leg, 1 foot of torso.
Yeah, all leg.
And one was that one
So
inch of
what you're saying is she's just a long-eared goblin on stilts. Got it.
Yes.
Thankfully for you, you've got a little bit of extra height from your whole floatiness.
Oh yeah, it's true. Sometimes you might float. You can't really tell if it's a trick of your eyes or not.
You guys walk down a very long corridor for a while. Eventually, the sides of it become more rough and more handmade. Obviously, this is a mine at some point, very professionally made. But as you get deeper down, it's no longer as professionally made. It looks more handmade by people down in the mines. And eventually, you enter a very large cavern. This oh, okay. Welcome to the entrance of the penitentiary. Many people are further deeper, but this is the current area for sorting, where people bring their crystals, allocate what they brought up, and prices and quotias are determined. And then goods are laid aside for it to be collected. It's rather late. Most people are likely to be asleep at the moment. But she pulls out a very similar device to what the Iron Hand had, and makes a few adjustments, and that lightning between all of your guys' collars slackens and becomes barely perceivable, and you feel like there's barely any tension between you all. You will all have mostly free to roam around these areas. You will quickly learn the extent that you can wander off. It's a significant way, but I wouldn't press the luck in case, yeah.
Is there a quarter put aside for us, or?
Yes, there is. There's plenty of beds. The reason why many of the holding cells upstairs are still being used is because there wasn't enough space down here. But set aside, there is an area for you. She will move down here and gesture in here. There are many beds. Take whichever one you wish. I cleared out this room down here to be usable by your group alone. Once you guys have just chosen your bed, then other members of the prison may join you in this room, but until now you have picked the litter.
Kree starts going around and testing each bed, seeing which one he thinks is comfortable.
And of course, Log, we will bring you a tub when we can acquire one.
This one is clearly the most comfortable.
Almost all of us have picked a corner.
Get me away from these things.
Yeah, even at 75 feet that you're away from Kai, you're still not feeling that tension. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not hindering you in any way.
Out of character, she said other prisoners would potentially be coming to join us and sleep in this place.
Correct, it is a communal bedroom.
Droska's black beard.
Sal's going to walk
I
up to
hate this
the
place.
floaty elven woman. Excuse me,
Yes.
would you mind if I took that bunk fare?
Kind of shrugs.
In the event that
Okay.
others would join us, I would prefer to be next to someone I knew than someone I didn't.
Fair enough. You can sleep wherever you want. I can't really stop you.
I can at least extend the courtesy of asking.
I'm well
Well,
aware
as
that
well. Sorry.
I'm well aware that most of you will not be very adept at physical labor. Also, in this main room, there are sorting tables for people to bring up ore from their mining quantities, and for people who are more dexterous and nimble of finger or more astute, can sort it out and actually find the proper reagents and materials that might be valuable compared to all the rest of the chaff. I figured that I would bring that up in case anyone was fearing not being able to work with their greatest profession in mind.
Well, I don't see any alchemical equipment here, so
You'll have to forgive us, but we're not quite up to speed on the chemical sciences. However, if you wish to enlighten us in our place of home, the penitentiary would greatly appreciate it.
I tell the Kishanaran clan that Starter Kishanaran III says he needs supplies and equipment.
That will be a bit of a longer journey, but I think I can maybe get something managed. Until then,
And, do tell them of my circumstances.
they've already been alerted.
I
Until then, prisoners, I do wish you to have the best of times here. And frankly, for us all to cooperate together would be the best result for us all. The sooner you get out there, the better record I have on my report. It's for the best. Ta-ta! And she will turn to leave.